had done some Maori studies, and I had a good deal of empathy with the Maori position in this country.
Okay.
Because the biggest section of marginalised people were the Maori people, marginalised through colonisation.
Yeah.
But anyway, coming back to I was on the leadership team, and the two brothers that started here, one of them was spearheading it, the other one was the backup, sort of. And the spearhead decided to leave the Christian Brothers at the end of the end of year 90, the end of 91. And the leadership team wanted to close it down. And I said, you can't close it down. It's the only thing we've got for Maori, and the only mission we had for Maori in the whole country. I said, you can't close it down. So it finished up by saying, well, you go there.
Okay.
And I said, I will. And I did.
Sure.
I've been here ever since.
In retrospect, what do you make of that decision? Like, how important was that move to you?
Oh, it was very important.
In what way?
Well, it's given me the opportunity to walk with the Maori people. I can't say I have achieved much in the sense of achieving justice for them, but they know that I'm on their side, and I'm simply walking as a brother, side by side, in solidarity with the Maori people.
Sure.
And that's the real reason we came here.
Yeah.
So now, following on from that, I do I do the funerals for Maori, the tangi on the marae. I do, karakia at meetings and feast, hakari. I do blessing of headstones, blessing of houses, blessing of the pounamu like this one, and all that sort of thing on request. I do tangi all the way up to Papawiru. That's halfway between Ngāputai and Rātahuna. We've got 3 marae here that have tangi on a regular, on an irregular basis. You don't have a tangi on a regular basis.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's Te Papa, and there's Painoa Hill, and there's Rangitahi, which is just along the road here. And I do tangi up at Whaiti Manganui, at Muramuru now, and at Papawiru, which is further up still. So that's quite an important part of what I do.
Yes. One of the key elements of this is the spiritual life. How did that change?
Yes,
coming
well, it
here
changed.
to...
Yes, it changed quite dramatically, really, because all through my religious life, we had been brought up to daily mass.
Sure.
Always, and great emphasis, and rightly so, on daily mass. And then I come to Murupara and I find that we get 1 mass a month, maybe 2. At the moment we get 1 mass a month, and it simply meant that my whole spirituality had to change with a much greater emphasis on scripture. So, and instead of feeding on the Eucharist, as in Mass. It's feeding on the Christ of the Scripture. And it has given me a great love of Scripture and quite a good knowledge of it. And what's focused that has been the work I do for the church. So that's a whole area in itself.
In what way?
Well, I'm de facto an administrator of this parish.
Mm.
That's why. So I'm receptionist. I am the secretary. I'm the administrator. I am the sacristan. I run the liturgy services. I prepare young people for baptism, for First Communion, for confirmation as required. You know, only occasionally I've had something to do with marriage preparation because we don't believe in marriage here. I think they use the library system mainly.
How do you mean?
Well, what you do to a library, you take a book out for a while, and then after a while you put it back again, you get another book.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So you were talking about the nature of relationships in a place like Murupara, for instance. Mm-hmm. Is not as formalised, if you like, as you would expect in a city.
No, not as formalised. Yes.
How does it affect the spiritual life then that you are providing to your parishioners and their families? In a way?
How does that affect?
Yeah, because in a city situation like in Rotorua, life can be more formalised, if you like.
Oh yes.
And from a priest viewpoint, you've got set targets and goals and within the framework, but here you're dealing with a different sort of framework, aren't you?
True.
So how does that affect the way you administer spirituality to you?
I'm not sure how to answer that, but I think it enhances my pastoral care because I love the people here, and I think I have a deep empathy with them, and it also gives a bit more life to my homilies on Sunday, because I do homilies every Sunday, except on the Sunday that we have Mass, which, as I said, is once a month. Yeah, that's not an easy question to answer, that one.
I understand that, but I think it's a good question in a way, because it goes to the heart of what you have done here, not so much what you're trying to do, but what you actually have done here, and it also links to what Pope Francis is trying to do, which is to reach out into those communities that necessarily haven't been the focus.
Yeah, well, I think that metaphor of Pope Francis is a powerful one, saying that his bishops and his priests should get close enough to the people to smell the sheep. And if they do it properly, after a while they should smell like the sheep too. I think that's a very powerful metaphor.